So the students feel as if the courses in general ought to be related in some way to their occupational needs. Many of them think that they feel like the courses really don't have that much to offer them for their future life or what they're going into as an occupation. I also feel like there should be more time for individual study on the teacher's part, that they can't get enough actually with a big class, and they need this individual instruction to really, learn the subject well.
We are in the process right now of developing program recommendations for next year. These suggestions of students will be built in, so far as is possible, to our program improvements for next year.
What makes you think these students know what they should really have?
Well, I think that if you really want to know what you ought to provide, you need to go to your client. And these students are our clients, and we think some of the best information we get about program improvements will come right from students.
Happy that we got to recommend all these changes because some of them are really necessary. In the chemistry field, there's not enough lab equipment. You can only teach what lab equipment you have available.
This Oak Cliff Neighborhood Center is one of the 34 polling places that will be used in tomorrow's War on Poverty Target Area Board Member election. There are a total of 35 candidates running for the 11 positions, with at least 2 candidates vying for each position. War on Poverty Deputy Director Albert Orozco, who's conducting the election, says that he's enthusiastic about it, but that his greatest problem has been conducting a proper election on such short notice. Curiously enough, Orozco says he hasn't gotten all the support he would have liked to have had from the current board. Of the governmental and community sector board members, only half will be able to take part in poll watching tomorrow. This type of election is something of a first for the War on Poverty, and because of this, neither Acting Director Bennett Miller nor Deputy Director Orozco say they have any idea of just how many people will show up tomorrow to vote. This is Teel Salaun reporting.
These are outhouses in Dallas County. They are located in the Armstrong-Stafford edition in the southeast part of the county. Some have called Armstrong-Stafford a freak of progress. Although it wasn't named for them, it does bear the names of 2 of America's space heroes, and that's ironic. There is absolutely nothing here mindful of science or technology. Armstrong-Stafford, you see, is a town of some 500 people who live without water sewer service. There's a privy behind almost every house. There are 5 wells in town, but they can't begin to supply the need. Hauling water is a daily chore here, like sweeping the floor in the morning or putting the cat out at night. Armstrong-Stafford was never planned. It happened. It evolved out here on a hill over a period of some 4 decades. The people who live here are self-reliant, and they have a strange pride in their community. An example is the Community Action Committee Recreation Center here. It's the only one in all of Dallas County in the War on Poverty program, owned by the community itself. The people here pitched in their money, bought the building, and fixed it up themselves. But no amount of local initiative or self-reliance is going to solve the Armstrong-Stafford water problem. The people here have asked Seagoville, some 2 miles away, to annex them and run water lines to their community. However, Seagoville officials say they simply don't have the money, and the city already has bond obligations through 1990. Now Seagoville has agreed to annex the area if the federal government will provide a loan or grant to finance a water system for Armstrong-Stafford. Proposals and counter-proposals have been made. There have been studies, reports, maps drawn, brainstorm sessions, and the people of Armstrong-Stafford have waited. Somehow it seems a little ridiculous that in sophisticated modern 1970 Dallas County, virtually in the shadow of the skyscrapers which mark the so-called social hub of the Southwest, we should have an Armstrong-Stafford. The people of Armstrong-Stafford think so. Tommy Ayres reporting for Channel 8 News from Armstrong-Stafford, May 22nd, 1970.
The neighbors in this community have complained to the man about either getting a fence or covering his bills on account that every month there's a fire, and it is a fire hazard. We have called City Hall, the fire department, the marshal, and anything else, and they just refuse to do anything about it. Last night, the whole neighborhood could have started in a fire if I would have been awake and called the fire department. Now, we're getting tired, and we think we're going to go to the city council and ask for their help, because we need something. They really don't care. If you take the pictures of the streets during the day, there's paper all over the neighborhood. There's a law against littering. They should be fined.
Our officials estimate the damage at approximately $14,000 to the stored used paper stock. Art Sinclair, Channel 8 News, Fort Worth. Do you think that you might have a similar strike here in Texas?
We won't have it if Congress acts.
If Congress does not act?
If Congress does not act, it could very possibly happen. Because our people feel very strongly in this particular situation.
Fire department officials here in Fort Worth are investigating the possibility of arson in last night's three-alarm fire here at the American Paper Company. The fire broke out around 1:15 a.m. A witness who works nearby said that he had seen a group of children playing in the area. There had been some fires in recent months, and these same kiddos on bicycles had been there just moments before those fires broke out also. Today, we talked with fire investigator W.H. Gates.
The first fireman on the scene found that there were several different fires scattered throughout the premises, one being segregated entirely away from the other fires. Out here on the lot where we're standing, there were 4 or 5 different bales of paper, compressed paper on fire, with no apparent communication between this paper and the metal warehouse building.
It's not the first fire that has actually taken place out here, is it?
No, we've had numerous fires in the past 2 or 3 years.
The first one was that they was able to sit down and negotiate a contract with the Post Office Department, the first one that had ever been negotiated in history on wages. It was sent to the Congress with the President's approval, and they received a 6% increase. And we're also working now on an 8% increase, which this wouldn't bring us up to comparable wages, but it's an improvement of what we had before.
You want to call it sick in or whatever. There weren't